All right, so a couple things before we start, just so you know. It freaks me out if people are on the computer, if you're on laptops, because they never pay attention. This is one of the things, there's a thread through it. So if you don't pay attention to one part, you'll miss the rest of it. Like it builds on it. We do one warm-up, then we have a thing. So I'm just warning you that in advance. There's also hands-on, so you have to actually do work in this session. So if those things bother you, I won't be offended if you leave. Just want to tell you that in advance. All right, so for those of you staying, I changed the title slightly. Building Writer Stuff. Let's look at agenda very quickly. A little bit of introduction, bridging the gap, verify versus validate. Verify means did you build the spec. Validate means did you build the value. Hands-on scenarios, we got 2 of them, and then we'll close it out. And along the way, this is one of those sessions where it's interactive throughout. So you'll be doing a fair amount of work. All right, introduction. As attendee, I want introduction to using Agile testing so I can improve business outcomes. Get better business results. Pretty good goal?
Sure.
All right, bridging the gap. I'm sure you heard about the gap of understanding or experienced this. Business wants something, and IT doesn't understand what the business wants. Has that ever happened to you? That's happened to you more than once. All right, so I'll take that as a yes. I'll take that as a yes. So I think I saw a talk earlier today. I got in late, so unfortunately I didn't get to see a talk. One of them I wanted to go to was about BDD earlier today. Did anyone go to that one? Behavior-driven development. Someone had one early. So anyway, one of the ways we fill that gap is we call BDD, behavior-driven development, or ATD, acceptance test-driven development. And it gets us on the same page, get rid of that gap of understanding. So now business and development on the same page. But there's another more important gap to fill. They're on the same page, but that doesn't mean everything's going to be great. What else could go wrong?
Change requirements.
Requirements could change.
Different assumptions.
Different assumptions. Maybe wrong assumptions.
Or the funding falls out and you just don't do it.
Funding falls out, you just don't do it. Take a picture of you coming in. There we go. Oh, you look so good as usual. All right. The more important gap is what we build versus what we should have built. Just because we're on the same page and we agree with each other doesn't mean we're going to get a good result, right? When you said the requirements may change or something we talk about, perhaps the requirements should have changed, but they didn't. The world around you is changing, but you're still on that same old page. So one of the ways to help fill that gap is what I'm going to call HDD, hypothesis-driven development. Way back a long time ago, maybe 12 years ago, I'd call it ODD, outcome-driven development. But every time I submitted to a conference, I couldn't get selected. So I found on the web HDD, which someone else created, not me. And apparently that was a better name because I got selected for conferences after that. One of my friends, one of my friends and colleagues in the industry gave a talk. I was just in the Scrum Gathering 2 weeks ago in Minneapolis, in the snowstorm, by the way. And he gave a talk, he called it EDD, which is, what do you call it? Experiment-driven development.
Didn't go well either, did it?
Yeah. No, it's not good. I'll tell you, the snowstorm didn't go well. We had 22 inches of snow, 40-mile-an-hour wind. Unbelievable. But, so, I don't care what you call it. You want to build a little bit, have some expectations about what's going to happen, go live, measure results, learn and adjust. Any lean startup fans? So lean startup, we call it build, measure, learn loop. Build, measure, learn, right? Paul, since I know you're going to be on the hook to take some good pictures, get my good side. Right? And the good side is when I turn around. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's my better side when you don't see my face. So, hypothesis-driven development, build a little bit, measure what happens, learn from it. So my first takeaway is build the right thing right with the right measurements to make sure it's right. Got that? All right. Well, I never expect to look like this, but anyway, it's 1972. We are developing an early basic consumer calculator. Very, very simple. Simple. It's 8 bits. Let's check your math skills. 8 bits. What's the largest number you can store in that?
256.
256. Very good. If it's unsigned, what range would you have there?
512.
0 to 255. Right? 256 things. So 0 to 255, unsigned, can't handle negative numbers. It only handles plus and minus operations. So, the user can say 12 plus 10 equals 22. Basic calculator. Very, very simple. Now, we're going to write some test cases, and these are very, very simple test cases to start. Most of this presentation or workshop will be on actually like a business case, not something technical like this. But this is kind of like a mental warm-up for you. And I have paper in case people need paper. You're going to test for valid input. We're not worried about what I call monkey testing or invalid input. So we're not worried about you entering like 12 minus minus. We're not trying to break this thing. We just want to see good entry. And we want to understand the boundaries of our system. So for example, a simple test case, 24 plus 40 equals 64. So generally I have people work in groups, and once again, we're going to do much more sophisticated stuff as we move forward. But right now I'd like to give you something really, really, really simple to start with. You're going to work with groups of maybe 2 or 3, create some test cases for this. If you have need pens or whatever, I have Radisson pens for you. That's where I was yesterday. Hotel Casino. Case with some pens, and I have special white paper for you. So write some test cases to test the boundaries of this very, very simple system. Very, very simple system. And this is, like I said, mental warm-up. We will be doing much more sophisticated testing as we go forward.
We can reconvene 30.
255 plus 1.
That's a good one.
Yeah. 255 plus 1.
I'll do this way. That's a good start. Let's work my whole day. Yeah, it's great.
What do you do?
Try the same.
Yeah, so that's that. That's a good one.
Minus 1.
Error.
0 minus 1.
Comes up. When he said negative word, then he said negative word.
That's exactly what we're going to test.
That's what we're doing.
You're thinking about what should be, what should you do?
So then like 254 plus 1 is 255 is...
Okay, that's what you say for discussion.
0. Just one case you... And then you go for the overflow, right? Well, that's what we're going to do. So that's really all you need is those 3.
But if we go to 256 minus, so anyone accept that?
Try. It's a good point. Probably.
It should fail.
256 minus 1? Right, yeah. Because it should be able to hit
So we should do some back.
It's been a while.
I was wondering if that was
Yeah, stop.
We got a pass. I got
In the old days, I used to do hexadecimal math. Now I can't do like minus.
I the machine learners. I just had to type in the code. So I heard there's a new name for our job. I'm really liking it. It's like good because there's we all know about the millennial. We're the perennial. Pray we come back every year.
All right, let's go over what's some test case you might want to test. An interesting question. One of the questions is, what do you do if it's an error? And we'll figure that out. Part of writing the test is to understand what will happen when you extend past the boundaries. So what are some things you want to test?
255 plus 1.
And that would give you?
Well, either maybe it's 0.
Probably give you the.
Well, it's funny because when you ask what you do upon an error condition, for the people like myself above 30, yeah, thanks a lot for that. Right. But anyway, for the perennials, well, in the earlier days, generally we didn't check for overflow because it was a costly operation. Computers are really slow. So what you would actually get would be an answer, just be wrong. Right? No, it's like you got an answer though. No, you would. It's just because what happens, the bit falls off the end, and whatever's left, you get an answer. Now, what you probably want, I do this. Actually, just did it yesterday in a product owner class. I've done this presentation probably 100 times. I do it in my product owner class I deliver training, and as a product owner, because that's where I usually do it, you would want it to say something like probably ERR, something like that. Because in the old calculator, it would probably be ERR telling you it's an error. But I wouldn't be sure, given the hardware of that period, if that would even be possible. You might just get the wrong answer.
Sure, it'd be
Right.
too much programming.
That'd be too much programming to check for that. But it's why it's amazing they got people to the moon and back, by the way. It's pretty damn impressive. Pretty damn impressive. So 255 plus 1, you would want that to say error, or ER, or something like that. What's another thing you want to test?
0 minus 1.
0 minus 1, which would be, once again, hopefully it would be error. But you might actually get an answer. Might get an answer. What else? Give me a positive test.
255 minus 255.
What's this?
255 minus 255.
Yeah, 255 minus 255, which should be 0. I'll give you another one you might want to think about testing. 256 and hit like a plus sign or anything. Because once you go above the max, it's beyond the range of what it can handle.
Well, now you're cheating. You said you're going to put a valid input in.
All right, do whatever the hell I want. All right, so no, but part of it is, see, what we're saying, like when you ask the question, what to do with invalid input, what I'm trying to make the point here is, even for something as simple as this, normally you write up requirements. Oh, we're on the same page. Yeah, really. When you make the actual test case, this becomes black and white. Right? You don't say like add a low number to high number. You say add the number 1 and add the number 255. Right? You don't say like add a low number 1 that would make you go out of range. You actually do give the example of it. So you give an actual example, and that adds a lot more clarity than does words on paper. So I put a bunch here, 254 plus 1. I like that boundary right at the edge of it. It's still good. Another one, 2 minus 1, 255 minus 253, 2. I don't think you would actually get the word error. Probably I should put here ERR. That's probably what we'd want to get. 255 plus 1, that would definitely be out of bounds. 1 minus 2 error, and 300 plus, that would also be error. Pretty much the same set of tests that you came up with, right? Slightly different numbers, but same basic test. Product development has changed their mind. No surprise, this happens, right? It's like, no, that sucks. We want signed. Anybody remember the word two's complement? Oh, you remember that? You're old, man. All right, so two's complement. Two's complement. You probably use punch cards and stuff, right? Yep. Oh, you did? All right. But you look great, by the way. All right, so you look fantastic. You got a cool accent. It's really fantastic. All right. So two's complement. For those who don't know, it's very important you really understand this. It's a number system that codes positive and negative numbers in a binary number representation. The weight of each bit is power 2, except for the leading bit. So this formula, does everyone understand that? What the hell are we talking about? That makes no sense. Who cares? Never mind. I'm sorry. All right. If you do care, by the way, really quick, this is the type of thing I mean. That would be -1, all ones. So if you get a number that's too big, and let's say you lose the 1 at the end, it might come out to be -1 or something else. Right? That's what we mean by overflow. But you don't really have to know that detail. All you really have to remember is -127. -128 to +127. And you're going to make a test case that tests those boundaries, just like you did before. And like I said, this is not that difficult what you're doing here. We're going to take this all the way up against testing against the business case in a few minutes. This is what I call the mental warm-up at this point. So this session's not about like verify. This session is going to be about validate, but we're starting up with verify to warm up our muscles. All right? So you're going to create some new test, -128 to +127. Go. Create some test.
-128 to
Positive 127.
So you're going to do -128 plus 256.
should enter out.
No, it should get you to 127.
You can have
Negative 128.
I feel like this book, I like that. That's funny. Just, yeah.
The two's compliment went pretty good.
But
Two's compliment.
you like that?
They brought back my nightmares.
You taught me how to know that stuff, right?
127.
Yeah, like to get some college out of that.
I remember doing math, I still remember
Minus-
doing the calculator. I think that's a 6 and a D on hex looked the same.
Yeah.
Where I screwed up. That's right. Because the whole thing I get. That's the point.
How do we get an error?
Out of 6. Yeah, I didn't screw it up. Takes like an hour and a half. A lot.
So we're looking for zeros or O's in code. Or ones or L, lowercase l. And you had, like a language that didn't specify.
All right, let's go over this together. What are some tests you want to do here?
Negative 128 minus 1.
Negative 128 minus 1. I get confused with that. What would that be? What's the answer?
There would be an error, right?
Oh, it'd be an error. That's going past it. Okay, that could be negative 129 too much. All right, so what else do you want to test?
Negative 128 plus 256.
Negative 128 plus 256, which would be
127.
127. Okay, cool. What else?
Then do it again and add 257.
All right, and 257. All right, so let's see, I have some here.
Can you put that in now? 256 because it's.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, you're right. So 256 would not work. Would not work.
Wouldn't accept the number, the value.
No, to put the 256, it wouldn't work.
Right.
And that's why, once again, your words on paper, you write that down, you think, yeah, it's going to work. But then you think about it, no, it won't. It can't store a number that big. Just can't. What do you think about those tests over here?
Besides being wrong?
Oh, which one's wrong?
Yeah.
Yep.
In case you're wondering, yes, I knew that was wrong. That's intentional. So the point being, I don't want people to think, I didn't want you to think I'm an idiot, all right? That's all. So I knew that was wrong, but that's intentional because in this case, I made it intentionally wrong. In my real life playing product owner, I've frequently done that unintentionally, correct? So what will happen, you prove my point. When you lay it out like this, it's very clear. And you can understand, are we on the same page in what we're building, right? And what's also nice, you're going to be able to verify against this. This is going to be, you can make this test automated. So these are some typical tests, and as I said earlier, I'm not 100% sure, given the hardware, whether or not you could actually give even an error condition. At that time, I was only age 8, so I don't remember the details. It could be plausible that all you get is an overflow, but clearly as a product owner or a business person, you would ideally want to get an error condition there. All right, now we're going to elevate up. That was warm up. We're going to look at a business scenario. So we are the Agile Land Theme Park. Agile Land Theme Park. We have all-inclusive one-day passes. We're open 364 days a year. We're not open on the day of Drupal Philadelphia. No, I'm kidding. We're not open on Christmas. We're not open on Christmas. And you buy this pass, all the rides are free. All the rides are free. It's great. Passes are often purchased in advance. And what this chart is just showing you is how many people purchase, how many tickets are purchased a month, and how many are used. What you'll notice there is there's really no seasonality. Just, pretty much 1,000 is purchased and used each month. Very little seasonality. That's our owner. That was supposed to be a joke, but anyway. That's our owner. How's he feeling at this moment? By the way, he's a British accent. And anyway, he is not feeling so good at this point. The economics aren't sustainable. Not sustainable. Fortunately, he has a cell phone. I talk to him. We get him back to the office. And the business goal is to immediately sell more one-day passes. That's our goal. That's our goal. The marketing and strategy group gets together. They're going to figure this out, the marketing strategy group. Using the advertising budget we have with very minimal additional funds, meaning you're not going to go hire people and say, oh, well, hire a famous singer and get them to the park. Well, that'd be great, but we don't have money to do that. How can we immediately sell more one-day passes? By the way, I've done this at a marketing conference. So for them, I told them we don't really have any demographic, behavioral, or psychographic data. So demographic, where people are. Behavioral, how they act. Psychographic, how they think. Right? The famous examples everyone gives, if you look at voting patterns, not to bring politics into it, if you have, Cracker Barrel near your house, you voted for Donald Trump. If you have Whole Foods near your house, you voted for Hillary. If you have both, you didn't vote. You're confused, right? That's the way the voting patterns work, right? That's what happens. But no, it's highly predictable, right? Highly predictable. Right? We can use that data about people and predict their behaviors. But we don't, unfortunately in our case, we don't have any of that data. We don't have any of the data. And we just want to sell more one-day passes. So this is some exercise for you. You're going to stand up and have a discussion. How can we sell more one-day passes? Remember, we don't have a lot of money. It's not like you're going to spend a lot of money getting famous people coming to your park. We got to sell more one-day passes. Stand up, discuss how we can do that.
What's the one-day passes for?
The theme park.
Can you go back to the premise screen?
Yes. Business goal, immediately sell more one-day passes because, that's why, because he's upset.
They're available to anyone over age 3 and what else?
Oh yeah, our passes are just one-day passes. They're good 364 days a year. Really any age, we'll take 2-year-olds. And any age can come in. They get free access to all park rides. Free access to all park rides. People often purchase them in advance, but they're pretty much no seasonality, $1,000 each month. The guy who owns the company is concerned because the economics aren't sustainable. We're not selling enough passes. So we want to sell more one-day passes. The marketing strategy group gets together. We don't have any more money to spend. We just don't have any money. We don't have any data. We're really in a bad situation here. So given this, you stand up. What do you think the marketing and sales group is going to do? Have a discussion. Stand up. You got to stand up.
Well, I got a question. Does it cost them to give away tickets?
It's more fun. You wouldn't know what happened. I want you guys to figure it out.
If the marketing part, they can probably write off content. It probably doesn't cost them anything to generate content like any other entertainment. So why wouldn't they target the biggest social influence digital thought. The only way without any demographic, behavioral, or psychographic data, so we can target any entity. You have a shotgun approach. You need someone with the greatest digital. Yeah, but I
said I really like your talk.
So let's say that's what they want. They want more followers. You can't give them enough money to warrant more followers. So they want more followers.
Alright, sit down, let's discuss. What do you think? What are you going to do?
What do we open
Open up Christmas Day. Come on. You were like, look at this guy's here. What's this?
Okay.
Well, no, or open it, if the sales are constant,
Right.
then just having an extra day of sales.
Oh, you want to take sales on Christmas Day? All right. I thought you were Scrooge. You want to do like everybody. You went to Poor Parker Place. What do you got?
Discount tickets for more people to. So instead of if you buy a second ticket, you get it for X%.
Right. So discounts. Discounts. What else? What else? Any other news?
We wanted to find a bunch of social media thought leaders and give them a bunch of free tickets.
Give away tickets to thought leaders. Any other ideas?
Change the, sorry.
Ladies first.
I was just wondering, it says that you want to sell more tickets, that's your goal, but if he's going to jump off the edge of that bridge because they're economically not safe, doesn't that mean you need to make more money, not just sell more tickets?
Oh, wow. Yes, exactly. Part of this is the trap that selling more tickets is not necessarily the goal. No, you're right. You're right. But it always pisses me off when someone gets it too early. So I don't. Because that's like the journey we get there, and then it's like, oh, shoot, we're really stupid. So hold that thought. You are correct. You are correct. So it's actually not to sell more tickets, but hold that thought for a few moments. Let me tell you what the marketing sales group came up with: quantity discounts for large groups. Quantity discounts for large groups. Take a note, Paul. I don't like her. All right, just get ahead. Quantity discounts for large groups. So as a member of a group, I want to purchase large blocks of one-day passes at a discount so I can save money. Pretty typical. Purchase less than or equal 50 tickets, $60 each. 51 or more tickets, $40 each from 1 to infinity. 1 to infinity. Any question about that? Infinity. All right, 1 to 1,000. 1 to 1,000. All right, let's create a testable spec, looking only at valid input. Buy one ticket. Price each is 60. Total will be 60. Come up with the other boundary conditions. Once again, there's no different than the calculator at this point. We're still at the level of verified. Come up with the boundary conditions.
What did you say the upper limit of tickets was? You said
1,000.
1,000. So 51. No, 1,000 times 40. 40,000.
What happens at 1,000?
What happens at 50 and what happens at 51?
You guys are asking me questions. Go do your work. You don't be lazy. Yeah, exactly. That's supposed to be. Remember the premise of this: you do work. Right? Remember that?
What we need to figure out is where's the break even.
So I think we can do 1 to 50 as well, like 50 into 60.
Yeah, 2,000.
51.
I'm just trying to test the of it to make sure.
We're looking at 50. We're still right there. That's
300. You can be quiet the rest of this thing. I don't trust you.
Yeah, right.
I do trust you. That's a problem. That's why I don't trust you. I put you on my team. I still want you to
Should trust me. I'm not the developer, but I can write
Yeah,
requirements.
you got this. That's what I'm saying.
How many
You gotta lead them to it. You're jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead. Which is good. It's smart. All right. So what do you want to check? What's the next condition you want to check? If I give you a bare minimum test, what's the next test to run?
50 times 60.
50. 50. How many price each?
60.
60 total. 3,000. What's the next test?
61.
51. Price each? 40. And total is? How do you like that?
When I read 51 or more, for me it's from the 51st on, I charge 40, but not below. From 1 to infinity, yes.
So you're saying you don't like this?
No. I don't.
Is this the business rule you like? Apparently not. Apparently not. Apparently not. You don't like that business rule. So,
As the consumer, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you what. You go to the theme park. I'm here with my 50 friends. I see you, and I say, oh, I see you're here with 49 of your friends. And you say, David, how much you pay for the tickets? I said, oh, I paid $2,040. How much did you pay? Oh, you paid $3,000. Now you don't like it. That's a consumer, right?
Yeah.
If you knew about it, you like it. If you
When I
didn't
know
know
about it, I go invite the guy who's coming in alone.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it's probably a bad rule. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Because you go live with it. Let's say someone buys 51 tickets and returns one. What do you do? Charge them $1,000? I mean, that'd be like, yeah, there we go. Yeah, not a good rule. But what normally happens in a workplace, most workplaces, not yours, I'm saying at most workplaces, when we see a rule that's silly like this.
Change it.
No, I said at most workplaces.
You work around it.
I'm going to say you just implement it, and then later on you explain it as why, where WAD stands for works as designed. Right? I'm IT, they tell me, look at the crap you told me, right? It's like, I just give me the rules, I build it, right?
Yeah.
Works as designed. So my takeaway is create the testable examples early to reduce the why discussions late. Because now we've moved from just pure verify into the realm of validate. Verify means, did you build the spec? Validate means, did you build to value? By looking at the test case, I can see whether or not looks like we have a valuable rule. Now, if I want to get, let me ask a question here. Why do we do the bad data here? Well, instead of do -1, A, B, like the monkey test, why do we avoid bad data? Because you get lost in minutia. See, what people are trying to do, they're trying to verify, and that's all I care about. Why verify a system that sucks? Validate before you verify. Verify means, did we build the spec? Validate means, do we have something that's valuable? Create your test early on to desk check whether or not it appears to be valuable. If and only if it appears to be valuable, should you worry about verification. But companies do it the exact reverse. Think about the logic in a lot of projects still, right? You go on, you get requirements, blah, 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 you can go on and on. Let's put in system integration test, it works. Oh, let's let the users look and do UAT. That's brilliant. Well, why would you want to do UAT after you spend all this other time? I want to do UAT, essentially conceptually, as early as humanly possible. If the users don't like it, it doesn't matter if it works. Right? So, I don't want to care about bad data. I just want to access the boundaries of the business rules and understand the ramification of those rules on the user community and on our business before I want to care about verification of the system. So I'm going to make a clean set of test cases like this. Then we're going to write what we call HDD. Now, HDD is kind of the premise of this talk. We'll talk about it later in a few minutes. That will give you a better desk check. Then worry about things like negative testing, like -1, letter A, etc. Worry about that later. When should we create the testable specification and who should create them? When should we create them and who? Who's creating these things?
The user.
Well, the business, with the business user and an analyst?
Early in the business analyst.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't like that answer.
Okay.
I like the early part. Who should create it?
The users, the consumer.
Who else? I don't like that either. I want multiple people. More collaboration, more early. Right? More collaboration, more early. I want at least a minimum of QA, a BA, a coder, maybe an end user. I'm like some combination, at least 3 of them. More collaboration, more early. I'm not creating this in isolation. I want to create great rules, so I want multiple angles against it as early as possible. As early as possible.
Okay.
Now these two look alike. It's kind of weird, but anyway, that's a separate issue. Separate issue. All right, let's get back to the scenario. Let's fix our acceptance criteria. Purchase lesser than 50 tickets. You missed a lot of great stuff too, by the way. All right, I'm kidding you. Purchase less than or equal to 50 tickets, 1 to 50 rates. This 1 to infinity. By the way, I don't know, it took me a long time to set you up. See, what I did is I fooled you there because I emphasized the word infinity, so you all focused on that. That's a sleight of hand. So that's why you didn't notice the 1 over here, right? So I set you up to fail. That's kind of my training technique. If you want to come to one of my classes, I'll do that over and over for you. All right, that's the problem. So how do you want to fix that? The gentleman in the back, you do this. What do you want to do? What did you say earlier? Instead of 1, you want
1. Yeah, so not do the 1, do it start with 50.
51, right? 51,
yes.
51. Notice how anal-retentive I am too? Only for tickets 51 and above. 1 to 50 still at $60 each. So that's really clear now.
Yeah.
Now it's good, right? It's good. You like it. You like it. I know it's good. Why? Price only tickets 51 up. I know it's good because look. I'm sorry. Let's go into the valid input. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do this one for you to save a little bit of time. What I did is I broke into 2 segments. So when we do the number 1, the 0 to 50 segment is going to be 1. Total will be 60. Now, by the way, if I had more space, I would have put another column there, like price each. I didn't have the space for it. this will be 0, 0, and then you're going to get to 60. Right? The next thing I'm going to do 50, so this will be 50 times 60 again, 0, 0, 3,000. Now this is a trick, the 51. What's going to be in this box? 50, 3,000, and here's the trick, put the 1, the 40, and the 30, 3,040, right? So, as I said, in real life, I'd probably put another column showing the price each, right? I just didn't put that there to make the slide a little bit more readable. So I think we've improved the business rule because I see a happy face, so I know it's better. Right? That's how I know it's better. The happy face. That's a clue. Happy face. It's better. It's better. But this is the young lady over here. Your name was Katie. For Katie's point for a few minutes back, remember she irritated me, was it's not really about selling more tickets. It's about
Improving the economics.
Economics. So even if we sell more than 1,000 tickets a month, that's hopefully a goal, but even more than that is going to be better economics. But let's see what happens here. Our assumption is that offering quantity discounts will result in higher ticket revenue, say elevated up. This revenue. We will test this by offering 1 to 50, it's 51, right? The rules we established. When we're doing science experiments against nature, it's a little bit easier to say this is repeatable. I mean, you try something. I want to make this really great unscratchable cover here. And to do that, I test some new chemicals out and it works, right? When you're doing it people, though, you can't really prove it per se in the same sense. So I'd like to see you get a strong signal or a weak signal. We'll get a strong signal if we increase the revenue 8% or more in 1 month. 8% or more in 1 month. So this is the expectation. We are going to grow the revenue, not just more ticket sales. That's per your point. Was it Katie?
Yeah.
Still Katie, okay. Still Katie. So we're going to raise the ticket revenue. We're going to sell a lot more tickets and 17% more, but get 8% revenue increase. Right? That's our goal. At this point, it's been what we call an intellectual exercise. Fair? I mean, it's just, we're thinking it. It's a thought experiment. We have to try it in the real world. What happened here? Oh, that sucks. I can tell, look. An unhappy face. So it's bad. It's bad. What happened? We sold more, but made less. Yeah. So test in real life with real users. You often know the term GOOB from the Lean Startup folks. GOOB stands for? Come on, the Lean Startup fans. I thought we had people who Lean Startup. Apparently you didn't read the book close enough. GOOB, get out of the building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, get out of the building. Now, in some cases, you don't have to leave the building. You just have to evaluate your data.
There's a Japanese word for it. Gemba.
Yeah. Go to the place of the work. Yeah. Learn from your tests and pivot towards value. We're going to pivot towards value. So let me do my pivot here. Oh, look at that pivot. Ooh. Pivot towards value. All right. Some people say in these talks I'm a little bit too over the top or something. I don't know. I think it's fine. That's them. Who cares? All right. Let's pivot towards value. So the problem is the Katie problem, right? We sold more, made less. I'm not saying, and it's good that you identified it, right? So what are the data may you want?
How many people already buy more than 50 tickets?
How many people buy more than 50 tickets? So kind of the group sizes. What else? And actually, because I fooled you a little bit, Katie. I still fooled you. You're still not focusing the right thing. What should you really care about?
Profit.
Profit and what does that mean?
Efficiency.
After cost, net profit.
Okay, net, which includes costs. What else does it include?
How much time between them when they buy the ticket and they use the ticket?
How much could maybe it's float? How much they buy and they use it? What else?
Operational costs.
Operational costs.
Yeah, how much does it cost you to run a guest through the park?
You guys are too focused on costs. I'm going to think about revenue. What else do you care about in revenue?
I feel like I might be off, but we never
How quickly you get your revenue?
That's what you get it, yeah?
I feel like we never figured out how much is our customer willing to pay.
Okay, yeah, maybe we didn't know. Maybe we could have changed the pricing scheme. Right? What else do you want to know? What are the data might you want?
Demographics.
What's the size of your market?
Size of our market. Rob more.
What our customers really want when they come to a theme park?
What do they really want? What else?
How many people can you accommodate?
How many people you can accommodate?
Did we know how much more money we needed to make?
You know how much we need to make? More, lots more. All right, so let's go for it. All right. What I do is look at the details of the groups, where they came from, how many they purchased, right? You're pretty typical, just like data, like where you live, when you purchased it, how many did you buy at once. Purchasing trends by geography were unchanged, the number of tickets per block, nothing really stood out there. Another idea was look at seasonality. We didn't have any. Another idea was look at total revenue. Because what I've done here, so I just did a 2-day class, and someone at the end goes, wow, the whole class, you kept on running us down rat holes. And we didn't understand, we never looked up at the big picture. That's intentional. That's my game, right? Not as said as your games maybe, the way that you guys did. But my goal is to run you down the hole where you're looking at the wrong thing. You're not measuring up enough. You see, you're right. It's not about selling more tickets, but it's also not about higher ticket revenue. It's about
Getting more money from the people who buy.
Getting more money. The overall business, because they pay for parking, they can buy T-shirts, they can buy food, etc. So we care about that. We have data. Wait, that sucks. Concessions and parking revenue decrease. This is really depressing. This is a really depressing talk. How can concessions and parking revenue decrease when more people attend?
They're coming on buses.
Yeah. They're coming on buses, vans, not bringing their lunch, not buying T-shirts, etc. Right? It's like the restaurants that take Groupon and 3 months later they're out of business. Right? It's like, yes, everyone will buy dessert without the Groupon and come back again. And that never happens. And 3 months later, they're out of business. Right? So we got more cost-conscious. Notice the word there, cost-conscious. My editor changed that. Cost-conscious people coming in vans, etc. Hey, all right, what else? Matt, you want to know? So someone had a brilliant idea. How about slow days of the week? Sure enough, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are slow. Kind of makes sense, right? The middle of the week, people aren't coming. I'm not coming in the middle of the week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So, what's the easiest thing to try? I'm going to say try build and test that would increase attendance on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And actually, now that you got the trick, I think it's obvious. You don't really want to increase attendance on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. What do we want to do?
Get more money out of the people that are coming.
Get more people more money out of the people. But take me up. How do you want to get more money?
You could give them a coupon for a free app or something like that.
Free? Something free? Coupon? What else?
In the cafeteria.
Free cafeteria food. Save that. It's a good idea. What else? Come on, where's the creative minds here?
I almost feel like why open on those days that you, because it's a lot of costs, right? You're paying employees. There's a lot of costs of running this, so why?
You don't get Grinch like him over there. Right? No, we're going to make more money. We're going to stay open these days, man. So the business case. No, that's fair. If you actually look at the cost, maybe you just close on those days because it will increase attendance of the other days. That's a valid model. What else?
So variation on someone said over there, kids for free.
Kids for free? What else?
Shuttles from hotels or something nearby.
Okay. Try to get hotels nearby. What else? So, one of the things, we got your concession coupon. Your idea. So your idea was really liked. It was a good one. By the way, does that look like a real coupon? As an aside, it took me 4 hours to figure out what makes a coupon looks like a coupon. You know what it is? No, it's not the barcode. No, you know what it is?
$10 off.
It's a $10 off font. You got to get the right font there, and it makes it look like a coupon. The barcode's not it. It's the font. So it took me 4 hours to figure it out. I'm so happy with myself though. Like, yes, it looks like a coupon now. All right. So $10 off coupon, and the thought there, I think, building on it is if a person gets some free food, probably costs us $4 for that $10 of food, right? They get some free, there's a good chance they'll buy some more, right? So that's kind of a thought. Another one is if you want a coupon, the problem is you actually have to print them and track them. If you just say, come on this day, you get $10 off, there's no real technology, right? There's no work. It's kind of easy to do. Another one is free parking. In case you missed it, let me show you again. Let me see it again. Free parking. I know the wheels don't turn. I got it. That's because we have a special park. You don't need the wheels to turn. It's like amazing. All right. Thought.
The
then what's the value of the coupon and the value of the parking for the amount of people coming? You know, if you're doing free parking.
So, I mean, the thought is, what was in your mind when you said a coupon for food? What were you thinking?
That if you give them a coupon for food, as you described, your margin on food's pretty high.
Yeah.
And you price the coupon at a point that's well below what you think the average purchase is going to be per family.
Right.
So that you're going to draw them into the restaurant to use it where they might not otherwise be doing it. They might say, I'm getting $10 off on my food. It's worth it to do that and not bring the peanut butter and jelly.
Right, so I'm just going to buy, it's $10 off, I'm going to spend $20.
Right.
The margin's really high, that $20 of food costs us $8. So we still make the $2 off of them if they spend that, right? We still make a little bit of money off of them. Right. And then maybe they buy even larger quantities of food. So we're believing, once again, I mean, that's the whole point here. When they come up with business strategy, you're taking a, begins with a G, ends with an S, and there's UES in there, taking a guess. Right? It's, if you want to pretend it's science, call it a hypothesis. By the way, I like the two of you. You laugh at all my jokes. You can come to my class and get a discount. I like the two of you. Yeah, I like it. I like
also little $10 off.
$10 off. $10 off. And the class goes like $1,300, so you'll get it for $1,290. Whatever. It'd be great. But anyway, I mean, all marketing, all business is essentially guesses, right? You don't really know what's going to happen, and that's what we're going to get to. What I want to do is I want to get a little bit more formal about looking at our guess in a structured way, so applying the same type of discipline that we apply to verify, apply it to validate. That's what we're going to get to. So give me one of those. You like the coupon one? You like the coupon since you came up with it?
I like the free parking better than the coupon.
But yeah, okay. And the reason I like free parking, by the way, think about that. It's such a beautiful one. I like when your downside is very well defined. You know the maximum number of people are going to park there. Your maximum opportunity cost is simple, 10 times the number of people who park there. Your upside is, I wouldn't say it's infinite, but it's kind of uncapped. Meaning, if it works well, you get lots of people, right? And you know your maximum loss, but your upside is uncapped. That's what we call an asymmetric payback function. Love asymmetric payback functions.
Say that again.
It's an asymmetric payback function. Your maximum loss is a well-defined loss. Your upside can greatly exceed your downside. See, it must be important the British guys writing it
Is your
down.
maximum loss the total value of dollars of all the parking places?
That's all it is.
Or is it only the average empty parking places?
Yeah, the way I look at it is how many people would have paid for parking.
Okay.
Right, that's it.
Right.
And times 10. Or whatever the parking thing is. Now, clearly, if you're next to Philadelphia Airport, you don't want to get the free parking. But if your theme park's out of the way, so let's write a test. And by the way, to me, it's not about syntax. I mean, here we're using a rigid syntax, but in real life, I don't care about it. But let's go over our assumption. Our assumption is that offering free parking will result in what? Think about the test you want to formulate. What is going to result in?
Higher revenue.
Yeah. For what?
Incremental increase in
For what?
Well,
Give me more specific.
the slow days. For the days that it's off.
No. I'm being annoying here, by the way.
You are.
Yeah. That's my specialty.
It's an incremental increase, though. Is all
Higher
you're looking
revenue
for.
for the same number of people attending.
I'm going to go up a ladder.
Higher profit?
Higher profit for what? You got to get, because you're formulating an actual test where you're going to set your hypothesis and you're going to measure results after you go live. So what are you going to measure upon the go live event? So I don't really care about people. And remember Katie.
Revenue per head. Oh.
You can look at your total revenue difference from your average midweek to an increase in people.
Close, but you're not taking me up high enough. See, what I'm trying to do is I'm fooling you. You're good. You're still down the ladder. You got to measure all the way up. Let me give you a simple thought experiment. We make it really cheap on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we do increase both attendance and total revenue in those days. What could happen? It could easily just hurt the other days.
Cannibalize it.
Right, cannibalize other days. Yeah. So what's your real goal? Higher net revenue for some period of time, a week, that you can measure. Right? So I'm trying to say is too many organizations are too busy measuring down. I'm going to go all the way up the ladder. At the highest, most level, you got to measure like a period of time. Now, if your park had been in business, what time do I have to finish this thing, by the way? I don't even know.
The next one starts at 4.
Oh, okay, so I had like an hour and a half. No, I'm kidding. All right, so, I like you. What you do is...
You got 4 to 10.
Oh, I'm supposed to have it.
The next one starts at 4, I said.
Oh,
He only has 3:45.
Okay, yeah.
I can go as long as I want. You can just choose to lose. All right, all right. I'll try to head quick. I'll try to head quickly. I might take 2 extra minutes though. But by the way, my daughter is going to prom today with a boy I've never met.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to get home to see this. All right. Our assumption is that my measure up doesn't come home pregnant. Oh, that's on tape. Woo! All right, maybe I'll be a granddad. You know what? I think the tape went off. Oh no, it's on. All right. All right. Our assumption is that offering free parking on slow days a week will result in higher net revenue for the week.
Yeah.
Now, the trick is you need a cohort group. If you had lots of historical data, you could simply look at prior years and make a comparison. Let's assume you're a relatively new theme park. You need to establish a cohort group. Now, unlike basic web testing, people also often do what we call like A/B. It's really easy, right? You have to get A, you have to get B of experience. If you're Amazon, 10 minutes later, you know if it worked, right? You just compare. No, seriously, I mean, it's easy. This is much more difficult. You got to think about how to set up this experiment. How do you create a cohort group to do a valid test here? Because I really need to see whether or not we're increasing net revenue on a slow day of the week, and that doesn't take away too much business from a less slow day of the week. That results in, that we get a higher net revenue. How are you going to run that test?
So maybe 12 to 2 different weeks, since we know that this is seasonality, apparently.
Right, so maybe you offer it for the next 2 weeks, you get the free parking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The 2 weeks after that, you don't. You compare the net revenues for that 2 weeks from the other 2 weeks, and you also compare the slow days, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, against each other to try to get some good data. That would be valid, right? You can also do it maybe run it on Wednesdays of each week for a month. You got to think about some way to set up the test. And I'll use the word weak or strong signal. I probably want to look even at week 1 and get a measurement. But let's say the Sixers do really well in the playoffs. Maybe that impacts you in the short term, right? If you run the test for a long enough period of time, you can get rid of the noise in the data and get some validity to it. So let me do the quick summary. It might take me like 1 extra minute. You can walk out though. All right. Use HDD to find the sweeter spot. Easy to build and test. Value for the customer. ROI for the business. Grows knowledge. That's HDD. That's kind of deciding what to build. Let me close it out. Build the right thing, right measurements, make sure it's right. Create those testable examples early to reduce the why discussions later. You'll identify the bad business rules. Keep those business rules just in clean test cases. Don't worry about the negative test cases. Test the boundaries. Write the HDD as a further desk check. Then worry about what I'll call verify. Then worry about verify. You're flipping the normal sequence. You're doing validate, then verify, instead of verify, then validate. Work together to create it, at least 3 folk, at a minimum QA, BA, coder, add in a user, add in a customer, subject matter expert. Get out of the building, test in real life. Learn from your tests and pivot towards value. Easy to build and test. Value for the customer, ROI for the business, grows knowledge. That tells you what to build, what you think you should build. It still could be wrong. So after you do that, then go live, measure results, learn, repeat forever. That's it. That's it. So one of the things I've done a really poor job with in all prior talks I've ever done, I suck at this. Today's going to be the first day I don't suck at this. For the first day of my life, I'm going to do this right. Marketing. Come to my damn class. I don't compete with you in these classes. You don't offer them. So there they are, www.growlean.com. If you like that, if you want to actually have fun in class, just imagine this by times 7, right, for 7 hours. 2 of you can get $20 off each. There they are, Philadelphia classes. I do a lot. Philadelphia native. I don't suck. We had fun. Right? Any questions? Any questions? I heard your training business psychology, right? You don't suck, right? You do great training. All right, so any questions? I apologize for a little marketing. I've never done it at all in a conference. I'm pathetic. It's the first time ever. I actually brought business cards even. All right, I never do that. Any thoughts about that in the 30 seconds we have left?
Make sure you take a picture of Joe.
I don't know if I'm going to get home in time. All right, I don't know if I get home in time.
You can't
Do you share that petition or is it part of the training?
I share it. I'll share it. I'll tell you what, I'll take a business card. I'm going to do that now, too. How about that? I always see other trainers do it. I think it's pathetic when you do that, so I just want to be as pathetic as everyone else. Give me your business card. I'll send you a presentation. That's my new thing, right? Or just put your name and email down or something. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So, once again, I want to use testing to drive quality business outcomes. Stop using it just to measure down and say that it build what you wanted. Who cares if you build what you wanted? Because what you want is often wrong. Try to build something that's actually useful, and this mental model helps me build something useful.
So I've got a question. You use testing there in your summary. Is this really testing? I know you're using sort of validate and verify as you went through. I mean, would it help people understand and accept this better if you used a different term than testing? And if so, what would you use?
It works for me, especially even, let's say, technology folks. So if I get coders in the room, I say it's red, green, refactor. For those of you who have no idea what it means, don't worry. I mean, coders think of like a TDD loop. Red doesn't work, green, you make it work, blue, we refactor it. I explained that this is red, green, refactor, it's a business case. So when I taught the technology folk, they just get it immediately. The business folk are always thinking like this too. The problem is the business folk and technology folk are in the room together.